everyone. This weekend, I'm returning to David Bowie, and I've listened to a few of his songs along the way, but it's time for me to spend a bit more time getting to know a few more. An art rock, art pop, and new wave song led by a flanged piano riff, the lyrics act as a sequel to Bowie's 1969 hit, Space Oddity. Okay, well, I have heard Space Oddity. The astronaut Major Tom has succumbed to drug addiction and floats isolated in space. Oops. Released as the album's lead single on the 1st of August 1980, Ashes to Ashes became Bowie's second number one single on the UK singles chart and his fastest selling single. Seems like Major Tom is a popular guy.
Say it's true. They got a message from the action.
The sounds, the tone of, okay, all the instruments, piano, voice, everything. It has such a weird sound, somehow it makes me think of if you have an inflated balloon and a wet finger, and you kind of rub your finger against the balloon, and it makes a sort of squeaky, snappy sound. And so I get this idea that perhaps this is set inside a balloon. It kind of goes along with the whole space oddity, floating around in space thing. Isolated.
Don't say it's true. They got a message from the action man. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. I've loved all I've needed love. Saw the details fall away. The shrieking when nothing is killing. Just pictures of chap girls and synthesis. And I ain't got no money and I ain't got no hands. But I'm hoping to kick because glad it is glowing. Ashes to ash and funk to funky. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low.
So I think pretty much everyone who follows me knows that I have never used any kind of drugs in my life. I have no experience with that experience. So my experience of this song is from an outsider's perspective. But it sounds like as it's progressing through these different musical sonic scenarios, perhaps I might say, or sonic experiences. Yes, that's rather broad. Each one of these verses seems to be painting a picture of a certain kind of experience. As I said, the first one, like maybe in a balloon or holding a balloon with wet fingers and feeling it squeak and click and pop against your fingers. And then it gets a little bit more dreamy, floaty, spacey. And then this verse, the shrieking of nothing is killing me, just pictures of, and so on and so forth. The way that lower voice, the bass voice, which is not really singing, more speaking, comes in, and it becomes all distorted and feels like, I don't know, in a room full of warped mirrors or something like that. So I feel like although I've never had that experience, I feel like perhaps this song is doing a pretty good job of painting a sonic picture of that kind of experience. I don't know. Those of you who've been through it might be able to enlighten me a bit, but anyway, it does create a certain image, a certain experience sonically, which is distorted and changing and a bit kaleidoscopic and kind of weird. Kind of weird, but it feels like it's intentionally weird.
Strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low.
Back to this ding ding ding. Doink.
Time and again I tell myself I'll stay clean tonight, but the little green wheels are following me.
The way he's using his voice and adapting his voice to each different sonic image.
Hope you're happy too. One flash of light, but no smoking pistol. I've never done good things. I've never done bad things. I never did anything out of the blue.
Another thing which is kind of funny for me to associate with this, perhaps, although actually I think that there's probably a strong link, musical progression link between the two. A lot of what I'm hearing in this song, the use of synth, the chord progressions, the pacing, the chorus, even as I was just mentioning, his use of his voice, the emotions that he's expressing, the pictures he's painting with the way he's singing each line. In a way, it feels like a sort of abbreviated version of something like, say, Pink Floyd's The Wall or something like that, where, and I'm not talking about the subject matter so much, I'm talking about the sonic experience and the musical material that is being used, and the choices of tone colors and the way things are blended and mixed. There are a lot of similarities in small bites throughout, where one line sounds like it could be from that song from Pink Floyd's The Wall. Another line sounds like it could be that. So in a way, it feels kind of like a musical relative. Maybe a younger sibling or something like that.
I've never done bad things. I never did anything out of the blue. Whoa. Want an axe to break the ice. Wanna come down right now. Ashes to ashes, funk to funky. We know Major Tom's a junkie. Strung out in heaven's high, hitting an on-time road.
Back to this.
My mama said, to get things done, you better not mess with me.
And the way her voice echoes.
My mama said, to get things done,
I feel like
mess with
all he needs at this point is to this is terrible. Inhale some helium and sing that way or something.
You better not mess with Major Tom. My mama said, to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mama said, to get
sort of surging bass notes. What an interesting listening experience that was. You know, as I'm thinking about the way the music is designed and the texture, the layout, the structure of it and everything, one of the things I notice is that it's incredibly evenly spread across the range. So there is always something happening in every musical range. There's something in the bass, there's something in the lower middle range, there's something in the upper middle range, then there's something happening higher. And each of these, should we say, geographical locations, pitch-wise, also have multiple things happening, texture, tone, articulation-wise. And while it might not be a piece that if we were to tear it apart in and isolate every single part, and we might not see anything really complex or astonishing in each of those parts separately. It's the fact that they are all layered and stacked together, and there's so much happening at every level. It's like being in a room full of people where there are a dozen different conversations happening on as many different topics, and each conversation has multiple voices, multiple individuals participating. So if you're standing in the middle of the room, you're hearing all of this going on around you, and you're trying to, try to follow it all. It's not easy because there's so much happening in each of these different areas. And I think that's one of the things that, well, I'll be listening to another song tomorrow, also David Bowie. So spending this weekend with his music is, I'm curious to see if I feel the same about the next piece of music, because thinking back to the other songs that I've listened to, I feel like this is something that is perhaps a fingerprint of his work, where there is such a balance and such an intricacy across the entire spectrum. And I think that's one of the things that makes it so you can dig into it and explore in detail, but at the same time, you can simply let it be what it is, this incredibly even balance of musical activity, and enjoy it in a less intense manner as well. I get a chuckle out of the knowledge that this is a sequel to Space Oddity, and it plays around with the same character, Major Tom. And, well, if I were going to try to draw a lesson from this, perhaps I might say, well, it just goes to show that that many of the high achievers are perhaps the most vulnerable. But I don't think it was meant to be any sort of parable or proverb. I think it was more just the playfulness and the game of saying, okay, what can we do with this and take it even further? And, well, here it is. On topic for the era, and an interesting, as I said, to me, very unique and interesting listening experience. I'm looking forward to what comes tomorrow, and I'll see you then.